Hello everyone and welcome to Painless Universal, conversation with myself and Welsh. Today we'll be talking about entrepreneurship pain. So many people are looking to start a business, especially after the pandemic. There's so much happened. So people either lost their jobs, they're looking to do new things. They probably said, you know what, I'm going to be brave enough. I'm going to start something because this is like my time to do it. The problem is the funding side, the time management. How do you really start a business and make it sustainable? My guest today, Paulina Tenner, will just be telling us exactly how she and her co-founder has been able to do this and achieve great success. Let me tell you a little bit about Paulina. She is a serial entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and a co-founder of the GrantTree. In the last 5 years, the team has grown organically from 2 to 50 and has raised over 50 million for over 500 clients using government funding schemes such as R&D, tax credits, and Innovation UK grants. They do things that, as a business person, as an entrepreneur, you never know exist, and they help you to navigate yourself through that complex process. GrantTree is an open culture company which is pioneer concepts such as total transparency and helping you achieve the success you totally deserve. I'm so excited to meet her because she'll be talking about her own struggles and why she decided to start her own business. Never easy, but listen to find out how she's done it, and I hope you find your joy as you go through your entrepreneurship pain and you're able to find success. And if not, you could contact her for her own advice as well. Meet my dear guest, Paulina Tenner, as she shares her story. Well, hello everyone again, and welcome to Painless Universal, conversation with myself and Welsh. We have Paulina Tenner here. She will be telling us about her own journey of how she's lived with pain in starting a business, in being a woman founder, woman entrepreneur, but still very successful, growing her business from not just 2 of them to now over 50 employees. This is not easy, as you all know, and anyone who started a business must know the challenges we go through on a daily basis to get our business up and running. Listen and understand how she's done it. Paulina, how are you today?
Oh, lovely to be on the show. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very well today. Yeah, quite excited. I just spoke with a very driven startup founder, and it just reminded me of why I love startups and why I love being in this space and why I love supporting people. And it's a company I might invest in. So, yeah, in a very good mood today. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. I just, what you do is truly amazing, especially, this difficult time we're living in where a lot of people are so nervous about even starting anything because they're not sure how do you balance it with your income you have? Where do you, where does the income come from? Before we dive into all of that, can you tell us a little bit about who are you?
So I'm a woman that started off with, you know, I started off I moved to London from Poland in 2006. I had a Eastern European accent. I had absolutely no experience in business, and I came here to study, and I just networked my way into starting my first business. Shortly after I completed my studies, and then my second business, which is the one that you described, GrantTree, which is now 50 people strong. So I'm someone who has, because of my drive and my love for business and for the kind of hustler side of me, I've been able to accomplish things. But I've also struggled. I've struggled with mental health, with eating disorders. More than happy to talk about it later. But I'm, I guess, someone who has pushed through adversity and managed to create quite a successful life for myself, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because a lot of people, when they see people who are quite successful, they just assume that it was just so easy, it just came to them, they didn't have to go through their own personal struggle. When you think of when you were growing up, what was it like? When did you realize that, okay, I have all these mental health challenges, I have this eating disorder, but I won't let these things define me? When did you realize I need to make the transition? And how did the mental health problem start?
Yeah, so that started maybe when I was around 14. I was really anorexic at the time, and I just remember feeling this kind of crazy satisfaction out of derived from my like self-harming behaviors, and just feeling like, wow, I can just not eat for days and I'm like this superhuman person. And it just felt really like this very, it's got a very addictive side to it, you know, self-destruction. And I remember that particular day when I just felt like I'm facing void, I'm facing nothingness. There's nothing on the other side of self-destruction. There's nothing there in terms of, you know, creating, building something positive. And I just decided to turn around. And it took me years to recover from my eating disorders and kind of mental health problems. Depression, anxiety kicked in as well. So it took me until my early 20s to really overcome it. But it was that one decision point that I remember that made me feel I want to turn back. I've got so much to offer to the world.
Oh gosh. And that also led you to create your GrantTree.
Yeah, that's my second business.
That's your second business. What inspired you to create the business?
So I was in my first business with a co-founder who was quite a bit older than me, and I learned a lot, but I also realized what culture I didn't necessarily want to foster in my kind of future endeavors. And I also saw a need on the market. So GrantTree gets government grants and government funding for technology startups and scale ups. And I realized there was significant need for that on the market, and that there was an opportunity to follow. And I just, you know, decided to give it a good go. Yeah. And it's worked out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, because it is. When I read you what GrantTree does, they take help people access the government loan. Can you help explain a little bit further for anyone looking to approach GrantTree? What does actually GrantTree do?
Of course. So if you're in the space of technology and science, so if you're building, let's say, piece of software or a medical device, or you have a green technology platform, or you're in the manufacturing space, for example, there are particular schemes that we can help you apply for. So there is a scheme known as R&D, for research and development tax credits, that we work with a lot of our clients on. And there are also grants, such as grants from a body known as Innovate UK. Again, a lot of our clients apply for these, and we do all the legwork in terms of the writing, the researching, producing the reports, everything that needs to be done for a client of ours to be successful in applying for this funding.
Hmm. How long did it take you to start this business? Because I know you said your initial business you were with an older partner, but you decided to start this business. When you went on your own path to do your own business, how long did it take you, and what gave you the strength in you to know that this is the right time for me to move on and start my own business?
Um, I just felt a lot of drive to create something that would be mine, something that would kind of leave a positive impact and kind of mark a little bit of a mark on the industry, which is, you know, financial services in that case. And I felt ready to do it. I felt driven. um I didn't know if I could. I ended up working with my then boyfriend, now husband, on GrantTree as a business. And that was the right move, even though a lot of people advised me against it. But I decided to bring him in because he had a lot of skills which I didn't. So it's just a matter of seeing an opportunity and feeling right now is the time to transition from my first business to my second business.
When there's some pain, some obstacle in terms of pain that you felt when you were doing this transition, like financially,
Definitely financially, I was under a lot of strain. So the first business wasn't really making a lot of money, and I felt like, wow, I can do better than this, and I can create a much better lifestyle for myself. So I was quite broke at the time. And when we started GrantTree, Daniel and I were, he was living on credit, I think, and I was kind of just running out of my savings. So yeah, it was tough. Those first few months were tough because we had absolutely no reputation in the industry. We had no case studies that we could show to prospective clients. We had no known and recognized brand, which we now have, thankfully. And it was just really tough to attract those first clients, but I really hustled, networked very hard, and yeah, managed to make it work, which is
You're
great.
so female, and you look at most of this, a lot of them are men. Being
Hmm.
an entrepreneur in such a niche area, what challenges did you find, obstacles were thrown at you because you were female? Did you find anything, or did you just notice the same as long as you have work hard?
I don't really, I don't know. I don't tend to focus on obstacles at all. I mean, if anything, I actually took advantage of the fact that I was different, that there were not many women in technology, and the senior leaders in the companies that I was talking to were typically male. So I don't know, for me, it was interesting. It was an interesting challenge that there weren't many women, but I wouldn't say that I had to face loads and loads of adversity. Possibly some, because I did feel sometimes like I'm the odd one out, but yeah, I always tend to look at it, how can I turn it into an advantage?
GrantTree has had also something a massive achievement. Can you tell me one of them that you're particularly proud of your achievement?
Yeah, so I'm proud that we managed to create a culture where people are really empowered to participate in some very important strategic decisions when it comes to how the companies run, and they're trusted with their time and resources. They're even trusted currently to set their own salary, which is very unique on a global scale. And yeah, we find that that really empowers people.
Mm. Today, a lot of people, I think we've mentioned it a little bit, it's the fundraising bits. That is always a struggle to get your business going, get the business plan, then you go out there to do the fundraising. And many businesses are struggling with that today. What advice would you give to businesses who are struggling in getting that first move and getting that fund they deserved for their business?
Sure. So I would say, first of all, figure out if you actually need funding, because a lot of the time you can just find, really hustle hard like I did, find those first few clients, and off the back of the what those clients pay you, you can grow your business. Sometimes, particularly in the technology space, you actually need some money upfront to build your product, or you need some money upfront to acquire an asset like property, whatever it is. And in this case, consider different options available to you. So you can use grant funding, which we specialize in, which is equity free, meaning nobody gets shares in your business. It's just essentially free money. Um, but they are typically quite hard to get, which is why we're in this space and while we're serving, over 600 clients, because it's not easy to get this type of funding. And other types include loans, include equity investment. So for a number of years now, I've been an angel investor in businesses. So I've invested small amounts of money, typically 10 to 20K, into startup businesses that were raising an equity round. And now I'm on the brink of transitioning from GrantTree founder to founder and a partner in a startup seed fund, which will be launching next month. So pretty exciting time for me.
It is. If you could do things differently, what would you do different? If looking back at how you built this successful business, you've grown from 2 to 50. Obviously, they must have had some bumpy parts away. If you could do one thing differently, what is anything you particularly think you would do differently?
Yeah, it's hard to think. Like, I'm definitely having a think about this, but you learn so much from mistakes that
Yes.
my journey is my journey, and I don't think I would have. There's one particular learning curve for us where we trusted one person in the business to find and renovate an office for us, and it turned into this ginormous project where we rented out a whole office building, like way too big for us, because we are thinking we are going to rent out individual offices in this building to other companies. And it ended up costing us, including the deposit and all the renovation works, almost £1 million, which is crazy. And we basically lost that money because um, we weren't able to rent out the offices at rates that we were wanting to. We ended up bringing in our kind of friends, founders, with their companies, and they're paying us, a cost what we're paying to the landlord. So it wasn't our specialty. It wasn't um, an industry that we knew about, and we just decided to. Yeah, we took too big a risk at that point. But again, it turned into a massive learning. So
My final question to you, because I think I've really enjoyed this conversation. I love your piece of advice about it can be done, is that a lot of people are asking, do you rely on mentor? Is there an importance that mentors plays in people's life, especially entrepreneur, female entrepreneur, male entrepreneur? Do male mentors play any important relevance to people?
mentors.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we've definitely had some mentors and advisors, and they've been very valuable. I'm a big fan of surrounding myself with people who are smarter than me and know more than me and have done more than me, and that's how I grow. So big fan of networking as well, meeting interesting people. So yeah, mentors have been very important to us, and I've also mentored some female-founded businesses on my way too.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, thank you so much, Paulina Tanner, for joining us on this conversation, because I think your own experience will give a lot of women confidence and hope that they can do it. Because I think people still have this doubt in themselves whether it can be done. We could question themselves, and there you are. You started a business, you've grown your business from 2 to 50. That's something definitely applaudable for, and I really appreciate your time. I know how busy you are. Thank you so much for this conversation.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. And for those of you who enjoyed listening to what I had to say, I've got a book coming out in November. It's called Laid Bare: What the Business Leader Learned from the Stripper, because I used to be a burlesque dancer as well. So I
Oh,
kind of decided to put those two sides together, my performing self and my business self, and what one learned from the other. And you can sign up for updates on my website, paulinatenner.com.
perfect. And hopefully we'll be catching up with you again once the book is out so we could talk
That
about
would be lovely. Thank you so
that.
much. It's been delightful.
Thank you so much.